DLC definitely gonna be fire. Actually, it's gonna be water. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Vandalier, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are going to do a watch together. We're going to watch the DLC trailer for Final Fantasy XVI's Rising Tide and maybe discuss it a little bit. Little backstory, I've played 16 almost fully twice now. I played it through once off stream, and then I played through on Final Fantasy mode New Game Plus on stream on Twitch, and it's my favorite game. I love the game so much. I adore all of the characters. I'm like at the very, very end of my second playthrough. Also, if you are new here, I have just pretty much the Ultima fight left to go. I've already played the other DLC that they've already put out for it. So I'm very excited to see what the Rising Tide has in store for us. And yeah, I think without further ado, let's get into it. Let's watch this trailer. I'm excited to see it. Oh, what's happening? Not coming through. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I think we're good now. This looks correct. Oh.
They would create a new Mother Crystal. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child.
Child sacrifice? What?
She's calling us. None other than Shiva herself.
Shiva. Timekeeper. Wait, who's that?
But he deserves a better
Is that a
fate
new icon?
than the one my people forced upon him. He deserves to be free.
Ooh. Wait, new hunts too.
Leviathan, our most profaned fragment. Now, let the sins of man be redeemed by the hand of the servant of God.
Oh man, it's all on the water too. Yeah, that's gotta be a new icon. That must be like Leviathan's person. Oh wait, there's more. Wait, was that like, did they combine Leviathan with the Phoenix and Ifrit? I am definitely noticing that there's like a new person, there's a new character, which I'm assuming is the icon of Leviathan, like the bearer of the Leviathan icon. So that's really exciting. We get to meet a whole new person. It doesn't seem to show, I mean, obviously Ultima's still there, so it must not be any extension after the game. It's got to be like within the parts that we've already played if Ultima is still there. And I love that it's all on the water. I was thinking as they were fighting that it actually didn't look like Leviathan was that big in the scale. And then I realized it's just because they were out on like open water. So there was no other reference to show how big Leviathan is. And then I saw Ifrit down there like this big compared to Leviathan, who was huge. So actually quite large. That's going to be super exciting. And it looks like they've added some new hunts too, which might help like build out or help you level up, I guess, to get a little higher leveling before we go back and play the DLC. So yeah, if we're ready to watch that through one more time. And then we also have another video that kind of recaps what they went over at the press conference when they released the trailer for the DLC. So we will watch that together as well, if you guys are cool with that, just to get a little more context and get a few more answered questions. Oh yeah, at PAX. So yeah, we're gonna watch trailer one more time, then we'll pop over to the recap from PAX and see if we can learn some more from that as well. All right, here we go. One more time.
They would create a new Mother Crystal. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child.
They sacrificed to Leviathan? Seems kind of messed up.
She's calling us. None other than Shiva herself.
That wasn't Shiva. Ooh.
But he deserves a better fate than the one my people forced upon him. He deserves to be free.
This setting looks really pretty too. It's like tropical.
Our most profaned fragment. Now, let the sins of man be redeemed.
Oh, I still hate Ultima's voice.
Of the servant of God.
This, like, look at the scale. That's just, yeah. Can Ifrit walk on water? Looks like it, right? Love it. I can't wait to be in the water. Yeah, this. Wait, it had Clive's face, though. He was just flying. He just had wings. Shiva needs a break. Her back hurts from being the one of the few who's been in all 16. True. She is tired. Excited to try Leviathan. He's supposed to be ranged focused. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that once you get Leviathan, you get all of his moves, too. That's exciting. I wonder if I could get Leviathan, like, do the Rising Tide before I get to my second final Ultima fight. That might be worth doing, because then I can go into it with Leviathan powers. Question people keep asking, what's going to happen when Clive gets all the icons? Right, like, is it going to change the ending? Is it going to change anything? I would not be mad at it if it did. Like, I actually really liked the ending. Obviously, I have my own interpretation of what is happening at the end. But I wouldn't be mad at an alternate ending either. Something new. Clive looks like the mural you find. Yes, but even in the murals, it was more like the just like Clive and Joshua mixture of Ifrit and Phoenix. It was like Ifrit's body and face, right? Maybe not. I guess it's kind of just like outliney. It's like more of a silhouette than any detail on the faces. But that was really interesting. I'm like 85% positive that was like Clive's face at the end. Like it had like his face and hair. Probably do Leviathan before Ultima might be a good idea. In fact, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. How wouldn't it be cool to actually go into that fight with an all new icon power? I think so. All right. So what we're going to watch next is from the Night Sky Prince. So they just kind of did like an edit of like highlights from the PAX when they did the announcements and all of that. So I figured this was a good way to not make you all sit through the hour-long interviews and stuff, but at least get kind of an overview of some details, and then we can talk about it. And I think if we are ready,
Fans of Final Fantasy XVI have been clamoring for more of the game, and they won't have to wait much longer. At PAX East, we got
Yes,
a
we
full
have.
unveiling of the new DLC, Final Fantasy XVI: The Rising Tide. This brand new
Timekeeper?
expansion is said to
Timekeeper.
add 10 hours of gameplay to the base game, as well as a brand new icon fight with Leviathan the Lost. This new DLC and a brand new wave of patches is adding even more than just that. So if you love Final Fantasy XVI, go ahead and hit that subscribe
There's
button,
more than just the
because there is
DLC?
a massive
I mean,
amount of new
obviously-
content that's coming to the game. Starting off, we got a brand new trailer for the DLC, with this brand new location taking place in Mysidia.
Master Tom
For those who
Berry,
have brushed
wait.
up on their Final Fantasy lore, Mysidia is a location that first appears in Final Fantasy II. It appears again in Final Fantasy IV, and for anyone familiar with CPU3's work, this type of reference is incredibly common for them. One thing that you will note is that the sky here is blue instead of the purple sky that happens at the end of the game. This is because the development team got tired of looking at the purple sky doing in-game content. That is, at least according to Yoshi.
it wears on you.
I could
That's
not
so
agree
funny.
more. That purple sky was nice, but holy crap, did it overstay its welcome. There's also heavy mention of Shiva in this trailer, which makes me hope we'll be getting more about Jill, as she was one of the characters that I think deserved a lot more from the base game, and I'm hoping this DLC will finally take the time to deliver what I think this character deserved. In terms of combat features that are being added, we have the brand new icon Leviathan, who essentially works like a gun. Literally, he attaches to Clive's arm and shoots pressurized water. It's said that this will be effective for dealing with enemies such
look
as
at him.
Thornberry King. So if you've wanted an icon that is proficient with long-range attacks, as well as good
It's the
crowd
face
control,
of
this looks to
Leviathan.
be the icon that you're looking for. As for the Leviathan fight itself, the developers say it'll be the most difficult icon fight in the entire game. So they ask you to brush up on Ifrit's abilities and give it your all. And don't be discouraged if you lose a few times. It's very exciting to hear, especially for people who thought the game simply wasn't
Get ready to
difficult
watch me
enough.
die
In this DLC,
a
Clive
lot.
will also be gaining a brand new party member, Shula. She's described to be
Leviathan's
a valuable
dominant.
ally on Clive's journey to rescue Leviathan's dominant. This being a big point that they raised during
Rescue?
the battle. We're on a mission to
So it wasn't
rescue
Leviathan's dominant.
Yet at the same time, we're shown fighting Leviathan. So how are we going to save Leviathan's dominant by beating the crap out of Leviathan? That is a mystery. The team says
Their
hoping to
dominant is
forward
probably
to
the
with
child that
DLC.
they
In
sacrificed
addition,
to
in
it.
story-focused and action mode, the level cap is being raised from 50 to 60, and if we're playing Final Fantasy mode in New Game Plus, it's being raised to level 110. But the DLC is more than just one main story. It's also going to be adding brand new side quests. In these quests, you'll be learning more about the area and people of Mysidia. There will also be a brand new stage called the Air of Hours, and eventually all this content culminating with the fight against
Timekeeper.
Leviathan.
There's something going on
However,
with
it's not
time.
just the DLC that's getting an update. The
Air
base
of
game is
Hours.
also receiving its 1.3 patch. It's going to add a ton of new quality of life features. The first among those being immediate return to the quest giver. So as soon as you complete a side quest, the game will give you an opportunity to teleport back to the quest giver. This will allow you to knock out side quests a lot faster. There's going to be brand new icons, that's with an I, for important character quests. This is good as it'll let you know
Important
which quests are
distinction.
most important to do. The game will also now feature icon loadouts and will allow you to save up to 5 different loadouts. This is an awesome feature. For me personally, the 2 loadouts that I mostly need is a loadout specifically for trash mobs and another loadout that I would use specifically for bosses. This is tremendously appreciated. When Final Fantasy XVI launched, one of the criticisms was that you couldn't customize
game
the
changer.
button layout. This is finally coming to Final Fantasy XVI. You will now be able to freely customize the control scheme however you want. They will also be adding more than 40 orchestration roles to the game. So anyone who's enjoyed collecting these and hearing the music, there's going to be a lot more that you can look forward to there. They're also going to be adding brand new in-game
Okay, they didn't say how
content
many.
in the form of Kairos Gate. Kairos Gate has Clive fighting through 20 different stages, each one more difficult than the last. You'll be able to maximize battle performance to earn points, finding new materials and weapons weapons to upgrade for Clive. This also features a brand new leaderboard, which allows players to try to be the #1 in the world. It's also said
the
that
little
if you get the
8-bit
best rank
Clive on
all
it.
the fights in Final Fantasy mode, then you'll unlock a
It's like the
special
circles of
final
hell.
boss. They did not detail who that boss is, and wanted it to be a surprise for the DLC.
New
so for
boss.
now, our imaginations can only run wild about who this could
Almost
possibly
40
be.
rolls?
As you can
Ooh.
see, Final Fantasy XVI's The Rising Tide is adding a ton of new content, but there has been a big question on if it is adding a brand new ending or not. Now previously, it was teased that if Clive gained access to all of the icons, that this might affect the final showdown with Ultima, as he would finally be a perfect vessel. This was
I got
later
goosebumps.
backtracked by Yoshi P, with him saying that there will not be a change to the ending of Final Fantasy XVI. And yet the last scene in this trailer is one that is incredibly interesting.
It's his
shows
face.
Clive in this ultimate form here, with multiple wings.
You got the little 8-bit
Yoshi
clap.
P
I love
was
it.
definitely shy to talk about this form and said that he could not say anything else about it whatsoever, as anything about it would
Oh my
be
God.
spoilers. That in itself is incredibly curious.
Yeah, look,
Could this
that's
be
fully
a
Clive's
brand
body
new
with
ending
wings?
for Final Fantasy XVI that we're looking at being teased here? Although they have said that there
keep
is no
getting
plan to
goosebumps.
change the ending,
So
it's
excited.
entirely possible that that was a misdirect. After all, guys, the developers aren't just going to give away.
Do they ever
all of
just
their
straight up
secrets
lie
just
about it?
because we asked. They have to be able to surprise us, and sometimes surprising us means giving us the runaround. Of course, it's also possible too that it's entirely unrelated, and we'll look back and think it has nothing to do with expanding on the ending of the base game. But that being said, Final Fantasy is absolutely no stranger to DLCs expanding on their ending. Final Fantasy 13-2 was the first one to do this with Requiem of the Goddess, giving Final Fantasy 13-2 its true ending. Final Fantasy 15
Oh,
was
so they did
supposed to
change
have
the
that in
ending.
future before it got canceled, which was also going to give that game an alternate ending. So it has been done before with FF, and I would not be surprised if this is yet another attempt at doing that. After all, many people are still curious about what happens to Clive at the end. Personally, I think it's a fine ending for this story, but I know
they
many
left
of
it
you want to
open-ended.
know more.
Maybe they'll just
And you'll be
extend
able
it
to know
past
more
that point.
soon. The Rising Tide is going to be coming out on April 18th. Will there be an even harder difficulty added to the game, or something like Ultimania that can be played from day one without having to complete the game twice in order to access? Unfortunately, no, that is not the case. So if you
we don't have to worry about that because we'll just play it again.
Difficulty in response to fans saying that the game was too easy, that is not going to be the case. Then finally, there is the PC version of this game. If you were hoping that the PC version would get a release date at this PAX panel, unfortunately that is not the case.
Not yet.
However, they said that they will be updating us on the PC version soon, so if your desire is to play this at 60 frames or more per second, you will definitely be able to do that eventually. This all being said, I want to know if you are excited for Final Fantasy XVI The Rising Tide.
So excited!
Let me know in the comments below.
All right. Only a couple of weeks away. I'm so excited. Thank you, the Night Sky Prince, for that lovely little recap of everything new and forthcoming for the Leviathan DLC FF16. So excited. And I think now that I've seen that, I am going to just hold off on my final Ultima battle until after. Like, that just makes the most sense. It feels like the right order to do it in. That way I can go into that Ultima fight with all the icons and brand new powers to play with. What do you guys think? If you have any thoughts, questions, comments about that before we head out, I'm very excited. I do think, like I said, I think there may be something funky with time going on. They've got to fight against somebody called the Timekeeper. And it was like the new battle arena was something about the air of hours, I think they said. Like of hours, like time again. So I'm wondering if there may be some funky time stuff happening again too. And they could totally say like, we're not changing the ending, but that doesn't mean that they won't extend the ending, or, you know what I mean? Like they could keep it the same technically and not be lying about that, but then like have more to it, add more to it. Her Jill gets more of the spotlight. That's awesome. She deserves it. And I would love to have more of her perspective, or like even get to play as her would be amazing. But I don't know if that's going to happen. DLC definitely gonna be fire. Actually, it's gonna be water. They don't have to change the ending to expand on it. exactly. My point. Oh yeah, if you don't already follow the channel or subscribe, do that now. Would be appreciated.